Good evening. Welcome to the Northwest Local Board of Education meeting on December 7th. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amy, can you take roll call, please?
Yeah. Mr. Gilbert,
Here.
Mr. Detzel,
Here.
Mrs. Detzel,
Here.
Mr. Teesort,
Here.
Mr. Yoshimura.
Here.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, the board will approve a motion to move into executive session to discuss evaluations of the superintendent and treasurer. This is routine when you're doing the evaluations for personnel. So the president recommends that the Board of Education approve the motion to move into executive session. We'll come back from executive session and start the regular board meeting. And then after the end of the regular board meeting, we'll have another executive session to continue the evaluation for another employee.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Where are we at?
Here.
Is your computer hung up, Joe?
I got it now.
Okay. Great, that passes 5-0. So we'll move into executive session and we'll come back, make a motion to go into our regular board meeting. You are welcome to hang out or jump back on as soon as we return.
Mark, will that be locked for the regularly scheduled time?
No, we'll probably do it right after we're done with the executive session.
Okay.
6:30 is our regular scheduled time.
Oh, it's 6. Yeah, what am I? Yeah, 6:30. I meant to say, not 7.
When you guys get the invitation for the breakout room, just click to join.
Great. Did everybody make it back?
Yep, I am.
Great. Pam, are you on?
I am. Oh, yeah, I am. Let me get
See Matt, see Joe. Todd, are we ready to go?
I believe we are. I see everybody.
On the vote though to go to
Do you not see?
the
No.
executive session.
There's not a motion to have to come back. It just says return from executive session.
Okay. We're good.
All right. Okay, next on our, to continue the board meeting, the next is 8.1, which is any kind of legislative updates. Matt, do you have anything, Matt or Todd?
Thank you, Mark. The only thing I really have to report is the fair school funding plan, House Bill 305, passed the House last Thursday. Apologies, just lost it. There we go. Yeah, passed the House last Thursday by a vote of 87-8, but it's now with the Senate. And from everything I understand, it doesn't seem that the Senate's going to do anything with it this week. And this is the last week that the Senate is in session for the end of the year.
Yeah, I heard that they weren't going to do nothing until next year.
Because the Senate has their own, let's see, their own bill, Senate Bill 376 in the works.
Yeah, we had a legislative breakfast this morning with 7 combination senators and House chairman, and Bill Seitz, Bill Blessing, all talked about the fact that they will not carry forward 305, that they will look at something that will fund school choice or ed choice for all schools, and that they thought they had to rush it through to make sure the list stayed small and did not go to 1,200 if things had stayed the same. So it's just amazing how instead of voting and doing what's best for kids, voting in party lines and voting at large, the House doing all the work, 3 years worth of work, and then all of that just being pushed aside in one slight notice by the Senate, so they can take care and try to put their own plan in place. So Huffman will not take credit for the plan. Instead, he is pushing things toward Blessing and letting him head up how they will look at the funding mechanism. Part of the other problem is that any funding mechanism that has changed will cost the state about $2 billion to $3 billion. And right now they're trying to find where that money's going to come from.
Maybe that rainy day fund, that money should come from.
I think COVID might have eat a lot of that up, but
Yeah.
I will real quickly say that that's very interesting because when Blessings was in the House, he helped me get onto the committees for the fair school funding formula when we were researching. And now that he shifted to the Senate, now he's going to head up a different formula and not take into consideration what he helped me and supported me in doing. So I think that's very interesting. And for our district, when he lives here and understands what that means, and that's $4 million of our locally taxpayer funding paid for here that's being diverted to other places, supported by them to go other places.
And that's just it. That's the way these politicians are. They don't care. All they care about is their constituents and what makes them look good. They don't care about the kids in the district when it comes to education. They don't care.
Not all, they don't care about all constituents because we are constituents.
Yeah, well,
it's just playing politics.
Yep.
Always has, always will.
Anything else?
That's all I have, Mark.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Next is the Student Achievement Liaison. Pam, do you have anything for that?
Yeah, actually.
He's froze, I believe.
Or 9, so wanted to congratulate all of them.
Hey, start over. You were completely frozen.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
we couldn't hear you.
Okay. On November 20th, Mix 94-9's homeroom hero teacher was Mr. Greg Tabor at Colerain High School. Want to congratulate him, as well as the numerous other teachers we've had throughout the year. Mix 94 does a great job showcasing teachers, so a big shout out to Greg. Also, congratulations are in order for Colerain High School seniors Alexander Thornycroft and Sophia Bick. They were named 2020 National Merit Semifinalists, so great job to both of them. 3 students in our district were named 2021 Coca-Cola Scholar Semifinalists. Trinity Robinson of Northwest High School, Hebron Guerrara of Colerain High School, and Cheyenne Goldick of Northwest High School. So congratulations to all 3 of these students. We're going to wish them luck in the future because it looks like 1,609 students were selected from 99,403 applicants from across the country to continue through the selection process, just 1.6%. They're currently submitting their semifinalist applications to be reviewed by Coca-Cola's Program Reading Committee. After the review, 250 will advance as regional finalists, with 150 becoming Coca-Cola scholars, and they'll receive $20,000 college scholarships. So good luck to Trinity, Hebron, and Cheyenne, and we hope that I'll get to announce your names again here soon for regional finalists. Now I have a list of all the GMC Fall Sport All League and Northwest High School postseason awards. It's a little long, but that's okay because I think each one of these deserves their name being read. First of all, volleyball at Northwest High School. Congratulations to second team all conference, Megan Carroll. Honorable mention goes to Janesha Bailey, and the sportsmanship award goes to Raven Hunter. Boys soccer, first team all conference, Isaiah Waits. Second team all conference, Seth Warren. Honorable mention, Michael Posey, and the sportsmanship award went to Robbie Broker. On girls soccer, first team all conference, Jenna Homer. Second team all conference, Lauren Yulin. Honorable mention, Carly Siebel, and the sportsmanship award goes to Tia Jordan. Boys cross country, first team all conference, Josh Ackerman. Honorable mention, Deacon Johnstone, and the sportsmanship award, Francis Fungabaum. Girls cross country, honorable mention, Michelle Mancini. Sportsmanship award, Aaron Richter. Boys golf, honorable mention goes to Reed Schaefer. Sportsmanship award goes to Andy Fishburne. Girls golf, second team all conference, Leah Anderson. Honorable mention goes to Morgan Frank, and the sportsmanship award goes to Jamie Adams. Girls tennis, second team all conference, doubles, Diana Tobata and Emmeline Nye. Honorable mention goes to Georgina Osei, and sportsmanship, Jennifer Cato. I apologize if I mispronounced anybody's name. We'll move on for Northwest. Defensive Player of the Year went to Diego Neri. First team all conference, Isaiah Benson, Jaheen Cherry, Kevin Grant, Owen Messung, Nick Moore, Diego Neri, and Cameron Wharton. Second team all conference goes to Jabril Bradford and Bobby Green. Honorable mention, Keith Love. And the sportsmanship award went to Kevin Buckner. The Southwest Ohio Football Coaches Association All-City Division 3 and 4. Offensive line, Nick Moore. Wide receiver, Kevin Grant. Defensive line, Isaiah Benson. And linebacker, Diego Neri. Fox 19 Penn Station Athlete of the Month for December. Congratulations again to Diego Neri. So big congratulations to all those student athletes at Northwest High School. Now for Colerain High School football. Defensive Athlete of the Year, Dante Corleone. First team, Dante Corleone, MJ Flowers, Lavert Jarman, Freddie Johnson, Xander Kendall, Temeskin Kasey, I apologize, Isaiah Myers, and Sean Williamson. Second team, Zaire Anderson, Michael Best Jr., Devontae Kinner, Josh Ringer, and Brandon Sinclair. Coach of the Year in girls volleyball, congratulations to Lindsay Dinkelnecker. First team, Abby McNally and Taya Pewitt. Second team, Kylie McNally. Boys soccer, first team, Alex McAfee and William Shuddy, and second team, Jaden Peshny. Girls soccer, first team, Alex Menneking, second team, Sydney Bell and Josie Menneking. Cross country, girls, second team, Marina Walter. Boys golf, Oliver Powell Campbell. So a big congratulations to all our student athletes. We're all very proud of you, and we look forward to see what's in your future. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. Anybody have anything to add? All right, so next on our agenda is Butler TAC updates.
Yeah, Mark, just everything's going well, and as you know, like we are just struggling to get through this pandemic and keeping the kids in classes and that, but everything is rolling along and doing very well.
Good. Anything else? No? All right, Todd, are there any reports from any employee organizations? Mr. Bowling?
You're muted, Todd.
Sorry, I was talking to you and nobody could hear me. We did not receive any from any employee organization.
I got you. Gotta love the mute button. All right. Were there any community comments, Todd?
Yes, we had one community comment to the board. There has been talk amongst a somewhat large group of parents/residents who are wondering why we cannot address the school board during the meetings. You can permit craft shows, students in school, sports, which seems to take utmost priorities these days, yet you hide in your bubble for board meetings. If it is so safe for our kids to be in school, why are you not allowing parents and those residents interested in the decisions that are funded by our tax dollars the ability to weigh in during your meetings? Remember, we are the ones who vote for or against your levies. I've been informed that parents have sent emails regarding the same issue and have yet to receive an answer. Makes a person or voter wonder, what do you have to hide? Believe me, you do appear to be hiding something. If you can have students in the auditorium, and I know this because some of our children are in your Butler Tech program and said they are held there during their cohort's lunch, then why can you not hold your meetings in the same manner? You could be spaced 6 feet apart from each other on the stage and have 10 or so interested parents/residents attend with their questions or concerns. Don't try to say it's because of large gathering restrictions. You won't even take live questions remotely in order to tailor questions and comments to support your view. We are demanding that the meeting be changed to in-person immediately for open questions. If you cannot answer to us, then maybe you will answer to the media, all of them. We will no longer remain silent while you hide. So the first thing I can let the board know is that each week when we publicize the board meeting, you are allowed to put in any statement or question or comment you want. All you have to do is send it in, put your name and your address, because you have to be a resident that lives in the district, and we will read it word for word like we just did, anytime, anywhere. That does not change any differently from being in person. At that time, community comments were allowed to be made, and that's what we did allow. So
The person that you just read that letter, do they live in the district? Do you know that they live in the district?
no, we don't even know if they live in the district. They did not put a name or a
Well,
address.
why would we read something if we don't even know that they live in our district?
That's what I need. When I talked to Mark about it, he wanted me to read it tonight so you guys could have discussions about it.
Well, I mean, I don't know what they're talking. No, nobody's trying to hide. I'm not trying to hide anything. If you guys, anybody in the public has a question, pick up the phone and call me. I'll answer anything if they got any questions. Now, I'm on the Butler Tech board, and we do meet, but we don't have any. None of the public comes to the board meetings because we have 11 board members on the Butler Tech board, school board. So, but we also have a thing, community communication, where we ask the superintendent, has anybody sent a letter in? Does anybody want to ask a question? I mean, we give the public that opportunity. What is the, I mean, I get what they're saying, we can have kids in school, we can have a craft show, we can have sporting events. Why can't we have a board meeting where there's in a bigger area, like a cafeteria or, something like that? So why can't we do something like that? Or what are we allowed to do as a school board and as a meeting? What is this something from the state, the governor? What are we allowed to do and what aren't we allowed to do?
Well, first of all, the Board of Education meetings belong to the board members. The president sets the agenda. You guys forward the agenda. It's your meeting altogether. It's not ours at all. So all I do is put together the agenda for you guys to go over. As far as a location, there are stay-at-home orders. If you look at what red means and the possibility of going to purple, and if you read those guidelines, they are very strict and clear. It says stay at home if you only have to. There was a health advisory out. I guess it comes into how much do people want to know? Do they think we're hiding if we have COVID, where some of us may have had COVID or some of us have been quarantined? We don't share that information, just like we don't with our employees, just like we don't with our students. That is all private information. But how you want to set up and run the board meeting, I have talked to other school districts that were on the meeting this morning. Most of them are, if not all of them, are doing them exactly like we are because of the spread and because we are in the middle of a pandemic, something that none of us have ever seen before. There is only 10 people at the meeting, and there is nothing keeping anyone from putting the same comments in an email. They can send them to my secretary, Donna Stockoff, and we would read them. And somebody might say, well, what if they don't read them? Well, then you have proof that you sent an email, and you can say we're trying to hide or do things, which we've never done. Anything that's been sent to us, we read word for word and we put it out there. So it comes down to what you five as a group want to do. But the community comments and the way we're doing it right now, the only thing it's doing is not bringing in our employees to monitor. And we would have to do, just like the sports was thrown up, and our extracurricular activities. Well, what our sports programs did while we were out for 2 weeks over Thanksgiving is they did thermometer checks with all their coaches. They kept spacing, they wore masks, they followed more strict guidelines than they have to out of school. Schools are stated constantly by the governor and the Hamilton County Health Inspector, Greg Kesterman, that they are the safest place because we have protocols and rules that we follow that we cannot mandate that people outside of school follow. If you look at our COVID list and our tracker that's on our website, you see that there's not much spread of COVID going through schools. Everything is outside of school. So it just depends on what you want to allow to come into the meetings in terms of the possibility of spreading COVID or being a close contact and the possibility of it shutting things down. So that's why I guess why you guys have wanted to be virtual. It's the first question I ask before we go over the agenda every week. Will this be virtual or will it be in person? But in terms of inviting guests, I'm not finding others who are allowing guests, and that includes our townships.
So
Go ahead.
In April, as a board, you passed a resolution that said in order to prevent against the future spread of the coronavirus, the board hereby temporarily suspends public participation policy for board and committee meetings and shall no longer be in effect upon adoption of this resolution by the majority of the Board of Education. And such policy may be reinstated through subsequent action taken by the Board of Education on or after the current state of emergency is lifted. That was taken at our April 20th board meeting.
So why can't we, if the public is watching our meeting and say Mr. Smith across the street has a question, why can't that question be sent to us during our meeting, and we have a section, like community communications at the end or whatever we used to have, hey, Mr. Smith here on Crest Road has a question, on finances, or Mr. Jones up on Pippin Road has a question about how can we get those, or can we get those, or is that an option, when somebody does have a question from the public, during our board meeting?
Oh, I think 100% that's easy to do. It's just maybe we change the notifications we're putting out so it's boldly printed at the top and it's easily read. It's already put out through communication. Maybe we just need to magnify it more. We say it every week when we have these meetings. We are getting more followers on Facebook than we were ever in in-person board meetings. And we can do exactly what you are saying. We can have all emails sent to Donna Stockoff. The purpose of the email is to, one, make sure they're a resident in the district. They put their name with it, like you said earlier. And
Right.
then at the end, we even had a parent send an email after the last board meeting and said, at the end, we used to have the ability to ask questions about anything that went on at the board meeting, which I think is what you were getting to there, Jim.
Yes, yes.
So what we could do is have somebody stationed during the board meeting, and any emails that were sent, we could collect at the end, and I could read them to you guys, and you
Yeah.
could respond, or if they were to one of us, we could respond. So yes, that easily could be accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, yeah, I mean, I don't think that's that big a deal. If somebody's got a question, ask a question. Nobody's trying to hide anything. And, you know, I kind of take umbrage with that when somebody's accusing us of trying to hide something. Nobody's trying to hide anything. I'm speaking for myself, and I'm sure I can speak for I don't want to speak for the rest of you, but I don't think there's anybody else that's trying to hide anything either. So, yeah, you know, if we can get that, you know, set up, or, you know, if somebody's got a question during the meeting, and then you get them at the end of the meeting and ask the question. And if somebody's not happy with that particular answer that we're giving, call us up.
And
Just,
yeah,
I mean, it's
I wanna
not.
remind everybody that while we're going on right now, we have our AO cabinet team and Lizzie Creasy are responding to the questions on Facebook also. So we can read the questions live on the air at the end, and Lindsay continues to answer the questions on Facebook also.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, I think that takes care of people sending in letters and saying that we're trying to hide something, hiding a bubble or whatever. That's absolutely false. But I'd be happy to answer any questions from anybody if they got it. You know, if I got the answer for it, I'll give it to them. If not, I'll find it for them. So
So
I don't know
I
what the
asked-
rest of the board thinks, but that's my opinion.
I agree with you, Jim. I asked Todd to read the letter just because there's language in there about hiding, and I think we're trying to be as transparent as we possibly can. So that's why I asked him to read that letter. Jim, I'm with you. Our names, emails, and phone numbers are published publicly for people to reach out to us. Any one of the five of us are available anytime. I have gotten a few emails. I respond to all of them. And I'm with you. If somebody feels like, just like the last board meeting we did in a board meeting for executive session to do evaluations for the superintendent and treasurer. And I got a couple people reach out and say, you know, what are you hiding that you're going into executive session? I think anybody of sound mind would understand that nobody should be doing an evaluation on a public forum for an employee. So that's just how it's professionalism and courtesy. So, you know, there's always this current of the school district's always hiding something. There's always some kind of conspiracy going on. And there's not. If you have a question or you need something put to rest, feel free to reach out to any of us, and we will work to get you a response and an answer.
So to open up an email in real time during the meeting for to be read at the end, does that require us to do anything as far as a resolution or amending anything?
In real time, all we would do is I would assign someone to collect the questions, and then we would make sure that part of the agenda, we would come back and we would just, I can't scroll on the agenda right now. I'm going to the other one.
I mean, it's just like having somebody come into the boardroom and asking a question at the end of our meeting. I mean, we don't have to do anything special for that.
But Jim, in April, you suspended that.
Okay, well, we can unsuspend that.
We'd have to bring that part
Yeah.
back.
That's what you meant, right, Matt? About that we would need to do something because we had voted.
Right. That's what I'm going to make sure that we were, you know, doing things properly.
Right.
Todd, can you come out on the website for Northwest Local School District and tell them the procedure that we're going to use now, that they can email us and or call in the questions and stuff?
Yeah, I'll be glad to get with Lindsay, and we will put a communication piece together, and I'll share it out with you guys to make sure you're good with it, and we will make sure that we get it out to everywhere it needs to go.
I think that would be a lot easier. If
And
you
just
did
make sure that people have their name, their address, and they actually are in our school district.
What
Sure.
we have done with anything that comes in with the community comments in advance, it's due by Saturday at noon. That way we can check it Monday morning prior to the Monday board meeting. But anything that would come in that night, we'll make sure we can check it to make sure they do live in the school district. If they're asking questions about the board meeting, for sure, we'll have access to our district.
So we'll follow up on this before the next meeting and get something out. And maybe we can do a public announcement as to any kind of change that we're going to have.
Yeah, we'll work with you guys and make sure we get something out that you agree with. And then at the beginning of the next board meeting, if we have to make a change to the policy back in April, then we will make an amendment to it so that we can accept those questions at the end per Amy's recommendation.
Sure. Great. Anything else? Okay, that moves us into the adoption of superintendent consent items. Todd?
Yes, thank you. Getting back to my page here. So the superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the adoption of the superintendent consent items as listed. So what you will find is personnel items. I wanted to make sure that everyone understood that there are some salary schedules there. There are no changes in salary schedules. They are for our non-public employees, and it makes them a separate class from employees that are in our district versus those that are in non-public. So there is no changes to salaries. There is no increase. There is no decrease, but it has to put on there. So if there is any type of closing for an extended period of time, which we have not heard about, that we would be separated and ready to go there. The next one is a general business item, which is our resolution of intent to participate in Ohio Facilities Construction Commission Expanded Local Partnership Program. The importance of this is we want to continue to keep in place our ELP funds, and our ELP funds were funds that we got for building the three new elementary buildings that total up about $18 million in an account with the state. And so by using the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, we can start to look at our enrollment counts and continue our committees that we had started with our strategic plan that Chris McKee was running, looking at what are enrollment numbers at each building, what are the possibilities of combining buildings, what are the possibilities of buildings that need to be replaced, and what are future enrollment expectations, and get a good solid count on what we need to do. So this declaration allows us to get back into contact with them, and it allows us to participate in the OFCC Expedited Local Partnership Program, which we need to do. Yes.
I just want to know how many, do we have any ELP credits now?
In terms of the amount of money of credit?
Yes.
18 million.
How much?
18 million.
And when is our supposed number supposed to come up, or anticipation?
So good question. We were looking, if things prior to the pandemic or if the pandemic hadn't happened, our turn would be coming up either this coming year or the year after. But now in lieu of the pandemic and lost funds, we are now 4 years out, maybe 5 years out. They actually had some schools who were counting on the OFCC funds that were pulled out in the middle of the bond issue that was passed for some school districts because of the pandemic. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
That's not good info, but
It's
it
not.
is what it is.
Vendor contracts are just our usual contracts. All were budgeted for and accounted for. Donations to the Northwest Local School District. I do want to take a minute on this one. First of all, a thank you to Struble PTA for donation of a laminator and 4 boxes of laminating film. Secondly, to Walmart and their school supplies, pocket folders, pencil, notebooks, binders. And then not lastly, but the third donation is from Carol and Bill Burning. And they are donating scholarship monies for seniors at both Colerain High School and Northwest High School to an amount of $120,000. And the scholarship money is for deserving international students. They have already donated money in the past, so this isn't a new part, but this is a lump sum amount of money that is just a fantastic donation, and something that is incredibly beneficial for our students. So
That's fantastic. I really want to thank them personally for doing that for these kids.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it truly is. It's shocking, actually, and it's so amazing. So our kids are truly blessed in Colerain and Northwest to have such people like that who live in your district. And in curriculum and instruction, you have the new high school courses that were put for information at our last meeting. So this is seeking approval of those as an action item tonight. So the superintendent recommends the Board of Education approve the adoption of the superintendent consent items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments?
Just a comment that I asked Todd earlier about the curriculum and instruction with the new high school courses, that doesn't add to our budget.
You are
Yeah.
correct, Matt. I didn't know if you were asking me a question or not. I'm sorry.
Right. No, just that, that it's basically a budget neutral action.
Yeah, each year, teachers and students, based on courses that they want to take, will make recommendations and look at what courses are being not chosen to be taken. And so they evaluate what's being offered and they put new courses out there. But this does not mean that we will be hiring any new staff whatsoever in order to make this work.
Anything else? All right, we'll call for a vote. That passes 5-0. Thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
Next is the approval of fiscal consent items. Amy?
Yes, so for the fiscal consent items tonight, first, we need to dispense with reading of and approve the regular meeting minutes from November the 16th and the special meeting minutes from November 23rd, as well as accept, approve, and appropriate the donation that the board just accepted for the $120,000, as well as the preschool restoration grant of $16.41. That is a carryover of a federal grant. And then we also have our quarterly update on our appropriation resolution for a total of $130.3 million for this fiscal year in total operational budget. This is a $300,000 reduction from what we approved in September. Most of it is because we were able to reduce carryover purchase orders that we did not need. And we also had additional revenue sources that have come in throughout the year that you have already approved. So with that, I'd like to ask the board to approve the fiscal consent items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? That passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. That takes us to the high school program of study. Is that what we just went over? No.
Yep.
This is the high school program of study.
Yes, pulling it up here. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
For information only, the first thing under curriculum instruction is the 2021-2022 high school program of study. The curriculum department, in collaboration with the teachers, counselors, and administrators from both high schools, is presenting the 2021-22 high school program of study for information. A summary of the changes of the program of study is also attached for your convenience. The curriculum department will be seeking approval at the January meeting so that the students may begin the course selection process. So look that over. If you have any questions, please feel free to let myself or Brenda Miller know, and we'll be glad to answer them. The second piece of curriculum instruction for information is the Newcomer English course. The curriculum department, in conjunction with the teachers and administrators from both high schools, is presenting the addition of 4 semester-long Newcomer English courses for next year. These courses will provide students with emergent English language skills and sheltered instruction for language arts concepts that will help form a foundation for how to analyze and interpret literature and nonfiction text. So if you have any questions about those, please let Brenda or myself know, and we will be glad to find the answers for you.
Great. Thank you, sir. Next comes to the proposal of the Board of Education meeting dates for 2021.
Yeah, so these are just a draft of the meetings for next year. I have listed virtual next to the meetings. Those can change at any time depending on how the pandemic is going. We can always revisit those, but I put office/virtual. If folks wonder why we do July 9th, July 10th is the last day that staff can get out of contract for our district and other districts. So we always put that one there, and it will be human resources or personnel issues only. So these are the dates that I have listed. Please look them over. And if you have any questions or conflicts, or if you have anything you want to discuss now, please let me know. And we can make adjustments prior to the organizational meeting, which would be January 11th.
Great. Any questions? And that moves us into the superintendent update.
Yes.
Take it away.
Was there a question? Sorry.
I said, no, take it away.
So wanted to talk first of all about the break for 2 weeks and what did that do for us? Because some people might have been wondering, why did we take those weeks? Well, it gave us time to see what the spread was going to do to our employees, which, as we have said many times, is what keeps our school running. Whether you're a custodian, whether you're a bus driver, food service, a classified employee, or a certified employee. We need those folks in order for our schools to run. And when we looked at it, it did work out very well for us. We had quite a few positive COVID results come back the week after Thanksgiving. If we had been in school that week, there would have been close contacts related to other staff because of proximity. And that could have caused us to possibly cancel school or grade levels or certain schools within the district because of that. So it also allowed us to clear up all of the quarantine that we had. As I said before break, we had 6 to 7 custodians out, so we could not clean our buildings professionally the way they needed to be cleaned prior to kids returning. So this allowed for quarantines to end also. So we were able to start today and have a pretty solid staff in our return. And as the governor has said, and as Greg Kesterman has said many, many times, schools are a safe place to go, but it also was very beneficial to take 14 days, get our staff healthy, get all the quarantines out of the way, and be able to move forward and come back and make sure that we do our last 2 weeks prior to Christmas break. And be successful getting those done. We have testing for seniors that needs to happen over these 2 weeks. So it's a very good time for things to occur. We are very aware that things continue to spread in our community. We continue to see that the cases are over 10,000 a day, and sometimes higher than that over the weekends. They can't keep up with the counts. So we will continue to monitor this week and next. And at no time do we want to put anyone in jeopardy, whether it be our students or our staff. So we continue to monitor every day and have conversations every day of the week to look at how things are going. We will be looking very strongly at the week after returning from Christmas break, since it is a much longer and lengthier time of taking the week again to allow cases for remote learning to pop up during that time because of the success we had this time. So more information will be coming out about that. While we were out over the 2 weeks, we did have a pilot at the high school. And as with any pilot, there's some ups and downs with that. The biggest concern with our staff continues to be that when we do remote learning, how do we make sure the high school students log on? It's something that we don't have control over, but it's something we think about daily and brainstorm how we can do. I personally talked to folks who were trying to reach out many ways to our students by calling parents, calling the students, texting the students, sending emails, mailing letters home to them, mailing positive encouragement home to them, trying everything they could to encourage them to get on. And we had a lot of success in a lot of areas. By no means was there not just everybody blanketing not logging on. A couple classes, teachers were talking about, I'm celebrating the fact that 33 of 42 logged on with their cameras on and participated. So I think we had great success. It's a learning curve. And I think we can learn from what we did and get better at it as we move forward. The teachers from both high schools were very excited about what they can do. We don't want it to be just you log on and I'm here to check with you and direct you to Google Classroom. We want it to be more than that. We want it to be more one-on-one, more interpersonal, and better instruction as we move forward. And it will get better, just like with any pilot, as we move forward through the year. So right now they are doing a evaluation and reflecting how it went over those 2 days and looking for starting it on a steady basis as we start second semester. Saw a lot of good things while we were out over the break. We have the ability to move in and out of classrooms, seeing teachers actively participate, running lessons like they are in person, starting with a note on their computer screen for their kids. This is the problem you're going to start the class with. So work on this while I'm taking attendance to see who's logged in and who's not, going over that, and then demonstrating how to do work and working with the kids one-on-one when needed. Also had several scenarios that were shared with us, counselors, teachers of different grade levels, reading stories at nights where the kids are laying on the couch as the counselor or the teacher read stories to them at bedtime. So a lot of good things went on. And no, are we perfect? But no, we continue to get better at the remote learning. We continue to work. I continue to encourage anyone, if it's not working out like you thought and you are having problems with connectivity or Wi-Fi, to contact your building principal. We will get in touch with our technology department and work on helping you get the connectivity you do need there. If there's a problem with technology, we'll exchange the Chromebook and get you one that is working, but we will do everything we can so that connectivity is not a problem. If there continues to be other issues, please bring it to your principal's attention, have discussions, they'll get the staff involved, and we'll continue to work with you to see what we can do. It isn't our first choice, but it is a choice that we have to make in the middle of a pandemic, and it is something that we get better at, and our teachers are working very hard at. So proud of their effort, and we will get better as we continue to go on like we have from the beginning.
Todd, kids that are not logging in, what is the percentage of, or have we figured this, that kids are not logging in at the high school level?
I think it depends on the class. I don't know if there's a percentage. I think some of it depends on the class. And I don't know if Dustin or Brenda is, I believe Brenda's on tonight, but if you have a comment, feel free to chime in. But I think it's more of, depending on what class it is, you might have some logging in and some not. It just depends on what it is, but there is no.
Why would that be a difference of determining what class? If you're in a class and you have to log in, whether it's English or math or science, they all should be logging in just like we would expect them to come to school. I don't understand why what we're going to do, or are we going to say, okay, you didn't log in, you're absent. You didn't log in 11 days this quarter or 12 days. You're going to fail for the quarter. I mean, is that something that we're going to do, or
well, it's not something we want to do, but it obviously,
no, I know that, but
they are going to fail. But we are doing everything we can to contact them. We are using our truancy court. We also need the parents' support. The parents have to support us, especially if they're under the age of 18. It is the parents' job to make sure that students are participating in school, whether it's remote or in person. But yeah, we are making as many contacts as we can. That's counselors calling, that's teachers calling, that's administrators calling, that's mailing letters home, and we're documenting things as we go along. So yeah,
okay.
All of that. The other thing is we had a testing site at Taylor Elementary. It provided an opportunity for our staff members and our community members to be tested. We will again do that on December the 12th on a Saturday and offer testing again. So information will be going out about that. We hope that will be very successful for our community and very helpful. It provides free testing for our community members. They will, however, ask you if you do have insurance, but if you do not, the testing is free. The last thing I wanted to mention dealt with the new guidance that came out from the CDC. I'm trying to pull it up here. Give me a second. And that is.
While you're looking at that, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go right ahead.
And you might have said, my sound kind of went in and out for a minute while you were talking. On the testing site that we did previously, how quickly did everybody get the results?
I am not sure. Kiva, are you on by chance? I have not seen her name. We couldn't ask for the results, and the
Sure.
run of the mill has been 2 or 3 days, but
Okay.
we were not shared with how fast it came back. We've also been told that the more and more that are getting tested, it is slowing down the results. So we've had some folks who will go and get tested as in our that work for us. They get results back in 2 days, and we've had others that's been 5. But I'm not sure about that answer though.
Okay, just curious. Thank you.
Um, Still looking. Hold on 1 second here. So the new guidance that came out from the CDC is that they want to reduce the amount of days for quarantine. Um, we are still very concerned of doing anything before we get out of the next 2 weeks. So we're going to stay with the 14-day quarantine for the next 2 weeks. It's too much to try to manage with our contact tracers and everything else. But as we return after break and we come back, we are going to look at the guidelines that have been established by the CDC, and it's kind of a weird predicament they're in. The biggest reason they changed the guidelines is that people were not getting tested. They were too worried about missing work and not getting paid. So folks were going to work sick and not getting tested because of the length of the quarantine. So the length of the quarantine has been reduced. If you do get tested, it's only a 7-day stint. If you do not, it's a 10-day stint. So we are looking over the information that has been shared with us from Hamilton County ESC and Sean Riley, and with Greg Kesterman from the Hamilton County Health Department. The Ohio Health Department has adopted the CDC guidelines, so it will be reduced to a 7 or 10-day. What we have to be very careful here of is, yeah, it will reduce some guidelines of quarantine for our students, but we still have our staff members to protect. And we have to make sure that they're not coming back at a rate that will possibly cause staff members to be infected. Because as we've said many times, we can't run our schools without our staff. So, and I did find out Friday from a phone call that Hamilton County will stay red for this week and next, that it takes 2 weeks to go purple. But man, as all of you have seen, there are cases out there. There is community spread. All we can ask is that people stay in, do as much as you can to wear your mask, good hygiene. Try not to go out unless you have to, and just use good mask wearing, good hand hygiene, and take care of yourself. So that's all I have for my update.
Todd,
Yes.
can I ask you about with the introduction of the vaccine, what is the sequential order of who's going to get the vaccine first, second, third, or fourth? And where does our teachers, our bus drivers fit into that, and other personnel?
Okay. Yes. We've heard that tier 1 will come out either at the end of December or the very beginning of January. It will go for your health professionals, your nurses, your doctors, your firefighters, your police, anyone who is in that category. Then tier 2 is going to include your teachers, your bus drivers, your school employees. But tier 2 is looking at April or May. When we asked about students, because as superintendents, we were concerned about the start of next school year, they were looking at July, August, or possibly September for the vaccine to be out there. Part of the problems with the vaccine is the way it has to be stored, getting it shipped out, and do you have the mechanism to distribute it?
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, that moves us into this is for the beginning of next year. We need to select a chairperson for, I guess, the first meeting of January. We need it has here Mark Gilbert will act as the chairperson for pro tem pro, and the board will wish to select, or the board may wish to select another member of the board to act as that chairperson. Sorry about that, a little rough. So we need a motion for a chairperson.
I make the motion that we let Mark continue as the chairperson pro tem.
Second.
There's a motion in a second.
I think it's been seconded.
Yeah. Did everybody get a vote?
I did not. It's not letting me go back there. Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm trying to find it. I don't know what's, I had the dates open for all the meetings and let me just do this. I don't know where it went. Well, I'm not sure what to do, guys.
How about refresh, Pam? Would that bring it back up? Let you go back.
There's nothing there. I tried to close, I closed out the attachment and I must have closed it all out. Let me see.
Maybe log back in and click join meeting and it'll take you right to it, hopefully.
Let me try this. There we go. Yep. Just get down to the meeting. Got it.
There we go.
Great. Thanks, Pam. So that passes 5-0. And that next comes to board member comments. Joe, you want to kick this off?
I just want everybody to be safe, have a great holiday, whatever, and just stay safe and wear those masks. That's it.
Great. Thank you, sir. Matt?
I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome back all the in-person learners from the previous break and wish them the best and be safe over the next 2 weeks. And wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Be safe, Happy Holidays. And that's all. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. Pam?
I just want to go back and thank our donations, not only from tonight, but throughout the entire year. Walmart, the generous donation from the Burnings and the Struble PTA, but all our PTAs work so hard and give so much of their time and dedication to the schools. And we honestly couldn't get through any of this without all of you. So know that you're appreciated and hope everybody's staying healthy and have, well, I guess we have a meeting next week, but if we don't get a chance, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and let's hope it's a nice, healthy new year is coming in 2021. Thanks.
Great. Thanks. Jim?
Yeah, I just want to second what everybody's just saying. Wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and just wear your masks and social distance, and everybody take care and have a good holiday.
Great. Thank you, Jim. I want to thank Carol and Bill Burning again for that amazing donation. I mean, in a pandemic and financial time where things are tough, we get a $120,000 donation for advancing our students' education. It's kind of mind blowing, really. I'm glad that we're having some testing so that our community has an outlet. So if you need that, please take that opportunity. I want to reiterate that, a couple of meetings we've had this, we're hiding things. And I just encourage anyone in the community, if you have any questions or concerns, or even need to just vent, feel free to contact myself or any of the other board members. We will certainly act on anything and get you answers. I don't think any of the five of us can be any more transparent than we're trying to be, because we are here to serve our community. And the reason I wanted that letter read today is because I don't want somebody to feel like something is being hidden from them. We're working our hardest in very uncharted waters to keep the kids and our students, our students and our staff safe. This is a very difficult time for a lot of reasons, and we need the parent support. This season has shined a light on a lot of different things. I think a lot of people have taken for granted getting your kids up and sending them to school, and now that there has to be a much more stringent participation for some of the kids, shines a light on how much actually goes into education. And the needs for that. So, I thank our educators for stepping up and modifying how they care for our kids. And lastly, please practice wearing your mask, social distancing, and you cannot wash your hands enough. We will be going into another executive session to continue our evaluations for the superintendent and treasurer. We will come back from that, but we will have no other actions to vote on or discuss. So you're welcome to hang out, or you can enjoy your evening after this. And that's all that I have as far as comments. And so with that, the board needs to approve a motion to move into executive session to discuss the evaluations of the superintendent and treasurer.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Great, that passes 5-0. We will break into a separate group, and we will return when that's completed.